I said, smile. You're live.
Smile.
Smile.
The S's and
Yeah.
ACES, is that what you were saying?
Yeah. The S and ACE, which stands for what's ACES 53, Brian? Without looking down.
Well, because I wrote it down, I don't have to look down. Attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, and smile, which Ed learned about in college, right? Which is
That's right.
what has led to sales success. Why 53? Because it's the best card in the deck is 4 aces and then a joker, which is the 53rd card.
It's the
And we're done.
first Joker is a 53rd card in the deck.
That's right. So now we're done, right? This episode's over.
Yeah, we're out of here because he finally got
We're
it
done.
right.
That's
ACES,
right.
attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, smile. What you bring to the table is what you should do. Smile is so important. And we talked about this in the beginning because when we're on radio and when we're doing stuff, they tell us to put a thing there, the mirror, or put something that says smile. So you remember to smile while you're talking, because people can hear the difference when you're smiling than when you're not smiling. Because it was funny the other day on a Friday, I was so tired. I didn't realize until afterwards. I went back to my 8:30 recording with Mike Kelly, and it was like I phoned it in. Okay, Tom Hopkins. I was like, man, wake up. What is your problem? Have like 14 cups of coffee next time.
Or just do a lot more espresso. Don't do regular coffee. Come on, upgrade your life.
I have a machine at home. I don't have to worry about it. I don't drink actual coffee. So
yeah.
No, but it's just all this is important in sales. And we had a gentleman on last week, Gary Garth, who wrote a book and to 100 million. And it's a great book. And he has a planner that comes with it. And it's amazing. And Joe, check that out. Anyway.
Well,
what was I getting at? I have no idea. Is today Monday again?
Yeah. So Joe Ingram actually set up, when I first got my very first set of lights, ring lights, he suggested one that has a mirror right above the camera. So you're making sure you smile when you do it from time to time. Or what another tip that Joe has is he puts smile on a little small post note and he puts it right where the camera is located, right on your device. And so that way you're always looking and you're smiling there at the exact same time. So looking down at the Zoom.
Stop pointing at me.
I'll point whoever I want.
It's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
That's right. So. All right, so we're back to talking about Tom Hopkins again.
Can I bitch real quick?
Yes.
I really don't like when I don't. Here, let me get that off. So I don't know if this is the same with you. I get a lot of DMs or people reaching out and they're like, I can do this for you, rah, 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 rah. And I ignore it.
Yeah.
And then they go, I want to put it at the top of your list again. And then it's like, have you thought about whatever? It's like, I didn't reach out to you. Right. I mean, am I wrong? It's like, why are you bothering me? If I don't get back to you, it doesn't mean I have to. If I don't initiate the call.
Right.
And I don't like what you're saying, I don't have to answer you.
My favorite one is I can do everything for you. And I'll respond back. Okay, well, what do you do? I don't know. What business are you in? I'm like, you reached out to me. So
see, I don't even, but I don't even engage.
So here's their strategy, right? Go and randomly find your profile, go and like 5 to 10 pictures, maybe put a comment and then send you a DM. And then if you don't answer the DM, then they'll respond in something else later and say, check your DMs. It's like,
no, but I get tired of these people who are like, okay, but I sent you a request. Can you, do you still want? And it's like, stop. That's all I reply. Yeah. Stop.
Oh, I was just in a mood the other day and let me see if I can find it. Somebody sent me one and this guy was just trying, like, look, this may work on brand new people, but anybody who's ever dealt with salespeople before, this will never fly in a million years. He's like, well, if I can guarantee you 30%, are you ready to sign up today? Like, you gave me no specifics, and don't throw out something where
30% of what?
Yes. 30% more customers, more money.
What,
you know?
Oh, yeah. Look, if you guarantee me 30% more paid business, yes.
Let me see if I can find it. Because I went on back and forth with this guy for a while, and I was just like, hey, look, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but you got to stop. You're hurting yourself.
All right. Well, there's somebody else we know is like, paperback out now. No shit. You've had it out for a while when the book was released.
Where is, I guess
I just didn't know if that's just me, but I know Rob Ansbach will go, he'll engage with every single one of them just for more stuff for his book. You got landscaper timing today. Landscaping going on out there.
Right.
Yeah, they'll go away. That's why people know it. No, you're good. I can't hear it now.
Yeah, here it is. Let me see. I would like to ask you a free question so you know my services firsthand so you can make the best decision. I'm like, about what?
Right. What
And,
services?
yeah. So what did he come at me? Let me see. Hey, I really like your stuff. I'll get to the point. I'd love to work with you about my Instagram services to help you improve your profile, increase your social media reach, and generate impact. I manage a great group of celebrities. And then everybody he listed is not a celebrity. And he said, I'm talking about increasing your audience, likes, comments through an organic way, basically tricking your algorithm. And then with the aim that you get more deals and impact the lives of many more people. If you're interested, I'll tell you how we work. And I said, no, I know, Ryan, I'm good. He's like, I understand. He looks like a good guy. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, however, I'd like to ask you a free question so you know my service firsthand so you can make the best decision. I'm like, no,
I'd like to
make
ask,
the work.
what was that? Ask you what?
He wanted to give me a free question. So
free question.
you would know my services firsthand. He goes, so you can make the best decision. I said, well, what if I want to make the worst decision? It was pretty bad. And then it was, man, believe me, I understand what you're telling me. However, I'm not taking you as someone who doesn't know. I know you're an expert, and that's why I contacted you. The reason for my offer is so you can test and see how it works. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because I'm sure they're just going to get your profile and your password and everything, just lock you out. But anyway.
Is that what they do?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I wouldn't doubt it. No, I was like, yeah, it's just, I'm getting tired of, like I said, just people hitting you up thinking that you owe them something when you didn't even engage with them to begin with. I was trying to find this one. Yeah, I mean, I get so many of them.
Like I said, the pattern I'm noticing now is going like 4 to 5 things, minimum of 5. Sometimes it's 10. And if they like 10 in a row, I'm like, all right, here comes the pitch.
All right, well, I guess we should get into what we were talking about today, right?
But
I'm just like, if you're going to be in sales, they're not trying to get in sales. They're just trying to get you to do something with them, and not necessarily, it's like fishing, but it's not exactly. But I just get tired of them, and where they think I have to respond back to them just because they responded. When they reach out to me, it's not the other way. Exactly. It's like if they call you and leave a message, why didn't you call me back? Mm-hmm. But you're trying to sell me something I didn't ask for it in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I gotta engage with you. Why do I have to respond back? Well, they're going to keep hounding you until.
The other day, somebody put on a video of Pat Hilton and I and said, Pat, answer your DMs. Pat just responded back, no. I thought it was great. I've never seen, most people just ignore it. He's like, no, not going to do it. Anyway.
Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah.
So we're going back to talking about Tom Hopkins because we talked about this a little bit last week.
Hopkins?
And so we just want to recover it with him. So kind of going back to the theory of where we're going to go the next few weeks is we're going to go to who are different salespeople that kind of influenced us learning sales back in the day. And Tom Hopkins had numerous like CDs, cassette tapes, you name it, that people would listen to when they would go in to learn like language patterns, things, how to ask questions the right way. This guy, so he's got over 5 million students across 5 different continents that he's done speaking for. I just saw, I guess he still lives in Arizona. He's still doing a few, like I don't think he travels anymore, but he definitely still does podcast interviews like that.
We should have him on.
Yeah. Then you mentioned it. The whole reason it came up is you picked up a book, but he's got 18 different books on sales. Right. When he did real estate, he was the top selling producer for numerous years. That's kind of like what kicked off his career, but he's known for asking questions, reframing sentences, kind of helping people to understand. And this goes back to what we talked about before. What's it like to have a script, of things that you say, have a walkthrough of when you take someone on a tour of a house, what do? You name it. So,
yeah. You read How to Master the Art of Selling, or you listened to it? What did you
I listened to it on Apple Music. Yeah. So for everybody who has Apple Music, just go type in Tom Hopkins. It'll pop up several of his ones.
And I did the Art of Persuasion, which is real key to me because I think it's so important. But then I started listening to his other book, which came out in 2014, which is When Buyers Say No. And not KNOW, they actually have no. Essential Strategies for Keeping a Sale Moving Forward. What I liked about the book is it really focused on how people says certain things to you. And like, I don't want to move forward. I don't have the money for this right now. And then you rephrase it into, a perfect phrase to move forward with it and hit their objections. I'm not going to go through each one because it's a really good book. I wish they would add a PDF so I could have cheated and cut and pasted so I had that information. But unlike the other book, the persuasion book was an actual workbook, and it was actually really good. This is a really good book just because you need to get, there's so many ways people will say no, but and they also keyed in also on the whole application thing and what not to say again. I mean, but we were talking about this before, never say but.
Exactly. Because it negates everything before it and people expect something bad.
Right. It's all negative afterwards. Yeah. You just said your baby's ugly when you say but.
Yes.
Or I don't mean to offend you. I hope this isn't offensive.
That is that one. And then the guilty of saying this one, but to be honest, it's like, oh, so everything else is a lie?
That's right. No. Can I be honest with you? No, lie to me.
Lie to me.
Yeah.
Good show, by the way.
Yeah, it was. I actually watched all of them.
Yeah, they're on Hulu. I watch them every once in a while. All right. So some of the techniques that Tom teaches is like using the word imagine. So when you're talking to somebody, you can say, imagine blah, 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 and what that does is people will literally stop and think about what if they had your product? What if they had your service? That's probably one of the ones he's the most popular for. Now, what's funny is if you go and you watch speakers, like in addition to being speakers.
Right there.
Yeah.
You know what funny is? There's another statement that needs to be taken out.
Ah, that's right. In addition to us being speakers, we like to go and learn from other speakers, and you will hear them say imagine quite a bit if they're pitching a product. Now, if they're there to just educate people, you may see it, you may not, but there's always that. You can tell a pitch is coming later when they say, imagine if for only X amount of money, you were able to change your life.
Would you do it today?
Or like this one, right? Future pacing. Oh, just imagine or picture yourself 6 months from now after you have our new product, right? How much your life will change. Right. That one's one I hear constantly.
Right. And I want to go back to the book that I just started listening, the When Buyers Say No. And they actually talked about goals in there and how important it is to set your goals. Right. And also in the persuasion book, they talked about it too. And it says, if you don't focus on where your income is you want your income to be and what that number is, when you go to retire, you're going to be very unhappy.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us get so focused on other things and not set those type of goals. And I think even myself recently, it's like I stopped doing actual goals, but just focus on certain things I want to accomplish. Right. I guess that would be goals, but I don't call them goals.
They're goals, but they're not goals because they're kind of goals.
Yeah, exactly. They're somewhat of a goal.
Now the ADD is going to kick in, but I was listening to somebody talk about finances, and they said when finances were done and people did retirements, they plan to only live, 10 to 15 years longer than after they retired. And the problem is people are living 30 years past retirement and they don't have funds anymore. So will we eventually be able to retire? I don't know. It's going to be tough because as things get more and more expensive, what people used to put away, it was different when there were pensions versus 401ks, right? Pension took care of you for life. Not so much with a 401k. You're kind of on your own.
Right. Well, and it just took it from the company needing to worry about it to you having to worry about it. My wife's lucky she gets a pension and she has 401k and 403b. So, yeah.
Nice.
So she'll be fine when she retires. I'll still be working, but
Right.
But when you do what you love, are you really working?
Some days, yes.
Yeah. I don't care what they say.
Before, but yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying focus on every day. Don't just focus on weekends. I mean, when you work an 8 to 5 job, right? You focus on weekends. Well, even in our industry with different things we do, you still need to take the time for yourself, work out. You need to work out, eat right, and enjoy each day, not just, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday
working
night.
For the weekend.
Yeah.
You're right. The more people that you see they're successful, they have a routine that includes health just as much as wealth. Because you'll see them, like there's some people make a ton of money and they are unhealthy as hell and they still are miserable. Right. Yeah. So anywho, on to the other one. So we talked about.
You didn't get my Loverboy comment, huh?
I did not.
You said working for the weekend.
Oh,
who sang that song?
I don't know that song.
That was the 80s, dude. Late 80s. Pop rock.
Yeah, I was born in 74, so can't
It
really
doesn't
help you there.
matter, dude. I said late 80s. You still were
Yeah.
10. You had the
Oh,
magazines.
this is true. Was that with the what was it? The where you could order like 15 albums or cassette tapes for a penny?
CBS.
Nah, I don't
It was
remember.
it was God.
I used to see it all the time because I was trying to convince my parents we get all these things for a penny, and they're like, "No,
Yeah, but then you got to buy like 5 actual full price off,
right,
down the road, and they were triple the price.
right." All right. Another pattern that he teaches, the contrast pattern, that is, how do you take somebody's objection and then you can put it in there? So like this one here, some people choose to stick with their current provider, but then they miss out on the personalized support. So it's a way of kind of banging on what they already have and why your product or service is a little
What's wrong
bit
with
better.
that statement?
Nothing.
It is.
Oh,
I see a but right
yeah.
there.
But that's
Some
on
people
this
can
one,
choose to stick with their current provider,
and that's the whole reason he wants them to get rid of
and
it.
they miss out on the personalization support exclusive features we offer.
I don't know, but this one's different. This one, he puts the but in there on purpose because he wants to negate the first half of the sentence. So it's wrong if you're saying but and you're trying to keep both sides, but he's wanting to negate the first half.
Okay. I just want to make sure people are focusing on what you're talking about.
Sure. And this one's one of your favorite ones, right?
No, it's just being empathetic to them, and you can, the feel good clothes. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found out. You can change it to something else. You don't have to say that. You just want to have empathy for what they're doing when you're explaining stuff to them, and that you understand where they're coming from. But I think the most important thing of anything you need to do is ask questions all the way through. Whoever asks the questions are controlling the situation.
The key thing you said there is asking questions. Too many salespeople show up and throw up and think they know exactly what the customer needs. And you got to ask what people want because you have to understand what they're looking for. You can come in the completely wrong direction. We used to run into that quite a bit with when somebody would put out a request for proposal or an RFP. They may put something in, but then what they actually wanted when you go in for the presentation is completely different. So we learned, instead of putting together this presentation strictly based off this document, we had it kind of lined up, but we'd say, what's most important to you? Because sometimes it'd be hundreds of pages long. But you have to ask questions. The minute you assume that, you just get off on the wrong trail completely. There's another great person in addition to Tom Hopkins. I would say he's a newer Tom Hopkins. It's somebody called Jeremy Miner. And he's great about asking what they call NEPQ questions, which is neuro-emotional phrasing questions. And it's asking people questions instead of just repeating a line over and over again.
Well, that's the whole thing about people think by repetition, people are going to, I've heard that so many times before. Well, it works to a certain point.
Yes.
But just because I remember a senator says once to somebody, he's like, just because you tell me this multiple times to my face doesn't make it true because I have kids.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing.
Somebody did say the best salespeople are little kids, right? Because they just won't stop asking for what they want.
Right. Well, I think, again, it's in order to, objections are not bad, right? There's a sell going on if you have an objection, but we try to limit them by making sure you put it in your presentation, but you still need to ask so many questions. And I know I stated a few minutes ago, whoever's asking the questions is controlling the situation. I wanted to really emphasize that, because you really forget, if you're asking the questions, you're controlling the conversation. And a lot of people go, I don't want to control. It's not about controlling them. It's about getting from point A to point C in this conversation. And so that you can get them to where you want them to go.
Right. You're not selling, like we talked in a previous episode, an off-the-shelf product. If so, that's why people go to Best Buy, right? When you sell something that's not differentiated, then you're just at a bidding war to the bottom. So, for example, Memorial Day just passed. Everybody was looking at TVs. Well, people are checking Amazon, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and figuring out, I know I want the off-the-shelf TV. I'm just going to go with whoever's got it the cheapest. So it's not about, I have a better experience at Target or versus Walmart or Best Buy, or I'll wait and have it shipped from Amazon. People literally, when you can buy it off the shelf and you're not trying to customize a solution, they want the cheapest one that's there, right?
Well, yeah, especially with TVs, you don't customize them anymore. They're just here you are out of the box. Do you need all this stuff? Or, I mean, it's at the point now, the best part of TVs now is you don't have to have cable connected to it.
And
You know,
that's the best thing. Apple TV.
not only that, I'm just talking in general because I can have one in my main room cable, and then out on my back patio, it's connected through an app.
Right.
You know.
Yep. Oh, so much better. So much better.
No rent. My wife's like, "Do you have to run cable over to there?" No.
Not
it's
anymore.
the same like the TV in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. She never turns it on.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you listen to when you're in the gym?
Headphones.
But
if I'm in my workout area, I got a full stereo, speaker set up. It's pretty loud in there. So
if I'm doing like a rower or the bike, I just turn on something on a webinar or something I want to watch, and I'll listen to it.
I watch financial markets when I'm on the rower, listening to what's going on Fox.
What's happening in the world?
Business, what's going on? Because and Marsha hates listening to me. Every morning I got to watch the stuff. What's going on with the market? Where we're at? What's happening? Because I need to know.
Yeah.
But she just hates because it's the other commentary with the with the political stuff that they throw in.
Oh yes. What, politics in news?
No.
What is the testimonial approach? This is common with people, and I'm going to kind of go differently with this one. People with rounded eyebrows, they are the kind of people who like to read testimonials from other people. So if anybody knows what I talk about, it's how to understand people by decoding their facial features. What we talk about is a lot of times people who will leave you testimonials and referrals have angled eyebrows. And then people with rounded eyebrows like reading the testimonials from those other people. So testimonials are great because sadly, nobody believes the salesperson, right?
Are you saying round eyebrows are hypocrites?
They could be. No. So they care more about referrals.
No, because they won't leave a review, but they want to read the reviews.
Oh, yes. In that part, yes. To a degree, they are. Why do we want testimonials? There's a negative stigma in sales. We've talked about this numerous times. People want to talk to somebody else who's benefited from it. And it's not even that you have to have it. Like when Steve was helping me redesign my website, that's one of the things I said. Do you have testimonials? Because people like seeing it, especially if you're unknown. Now, if you're known, like you were talking before, you get referral business of somebody who bought from you or their family member bought from you 5 to 10 years ago. They've already done something with you. That is the testimonial. That's what a referral is. But people like to see testimonials if you're an unknown resource and you're new to them.
Well, and for me, what helped with me is during 2020 and 2021 with 12 trillion in mortgage debt, we refinanced 10 trillion. Not me personally. God, I wish it was me personally. I wouldn't be here. There was only so much you could do because it was it's a long. I got so many reviews during that period of time because I had everybody got paid to help me get those reviews, right? Mm-hmm. And they have helped me drastically today. People call me and go, "I found you on Google, and I called you because you had all the reviews and nobody, the other people didn't." So, but it's sad part is you can do an amazing job, and people won't leave a review.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing how hard it is to get people to leave a review for you.
What's the old adage that people will maybe leave you a review
20 people.
1 out of 10 times, 1 out of 20. But if you have a bad service, they'll tell 10 of their friends immediately. Right.
It's actually, if you had a good relationship, they'll tell 10 people. If you had a bad relationship, they'll tell 20 people.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. Because we all know when we had a bad experience somewhere.
I mean, I talk bad about Bird Eye all the time.
Hey,
did I in my story about them? So I was going to cancel, and there's a service kind of like high level, but they basically can help you get the reviews and all that. You send out things through text and whatever. And then I was going to cancel them, and they're like, "Hey, we don't want you to go. We'll give you 2 months for free."
Mm-hmm.
And this was October, so it was August, right? We're canceling, so they gave us September, October for free. November was my contract that was automatically renewed.
Yeah.
I was like, "You sons of bitches did that so that you could automatically renew my contract."
Yeah. See, and then it's one of those things that they're expecting that most people won't set on their calendar how to get out of it. But that's what leads to chargebacks. And that's, if you get enough chargebacks from people, you'll get shut down by Stripe or whoever your payment processor is over time. So it's a dicey game to play. Yeah, you may win, but you're most likely going to lose when you do shady shit like
I'm
that.
like, you better cancel me, or I'm going to talk about you every time I'm on radio and everything I do, because this is just bullshit what you did.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get two more because we're cutting today short. So this one I'm not the biggest fan of, but this is one he's known for. And that is the if I could ... would you technique. So if I could help you today, Ed, get into the car that you want, are you willing to sign up today? You know, that I'm not a huge fan of that.
Well, it just depends on the situation, right?
Right.
Because people say, you know, I'm thinking it's, you know, it's if I could say, you know, some people want a discount, right? And they say, okay, well, if you pay upfront cash today, I'll or discount or extend the contract, you know, the service agreement. A lot of people want extra service, right?
Right.
Warranties or whatever. And he was big on, one of his comments was, so what you say is, all right, so if you sign today and pay upfront you know, I don't want to say cash, but you pay upfront, I will extend the warranty for 6 months.
Right. And so that I'm good with. It's the if I could starting out with it. So I like the way you did it, where you made it about them first. Hey, if you can do this, then I can go ahead and do these other things. That I'm good with. I always feel like it's trap type language when it's, well, if I can do this, then will you do that? Because it's barter, give and take. But I like the way you did it in reverse.
I know, but it depends on what it is. I could see if, you know, if I could get you this today, would you be willing to move forward?
Right.
Would you be willing to move forward? That's nothing wrong with that, right?
No, I'm just not the biggest fan. I think it's overused. I like the way you did it in reverse. Hey, if you want to do this today, yeah.
What I would do with any of the old stuff that we're talking about, I know this is 2014, this other one, but both these books were done early on.
Right.
A lot of these guys, it was all about you as a salesperson and not the other person, right?
Yes.
And it used to be back in the day, they say this, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated, which was so wrong. It's you treat people the way they want to be treated. But
100%.
forever it was, and that's why a lot of the sell stuff is focused. If I can do this, will you do this? Instead of, you know, hey, are you willing to do this? I can do, you know. So it just depends on what that question. And a lot of the stuff that you deal with in sales is whatever they say to you, you rechange what you take part of that end part and put it back in a question to them to move forward. And again, it all talks about asking questions and keep asking those questions along the way through. So you have total control of the situation. And I don't mean that control in a bad way, just so that you get them to where that, you know, they want. Persuasion is about getting people to do what they want to do in the first place, which is buy a house, get a car, right?
With this one, I see it all the time when somebody makes their offer, and it's usually a high ticket item, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, and they're not getting the take they want. Then it was, if I could break this down into 6 payments of blah, 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 would you be willing? Because they start first with, hey, let's go for the high ticket item. And then if they're not getting enough takers in it, that's when I see this come out a lot. Is if I could break this down to 12 easy monthly payments, right? And it's the same thing when you go to buy a new car or house or whatever. This usually comes in afterwards. But on high ticket items where it's getting people to put it on a credit card, this one is huge. See it.
Yeah, but that's like a funnel. You're talking more of a funnel kind of thing. But then then the big thing is the stack. And they repeat, you know, what you're getting. Okay, you get this, and then also we're going to add this in, and then we're also going to add this in. And don't forget, if you buy right now, we're adding this in too today.
But wait, there's more, right? It's the original,
and it works.
OxyClean.
And the sad thing is, if it didn't work, they wouldn't do it.
100%. Everybody wants to feel, well, what have we've all learned? It's about building value. So your price seems like a no-brainer. Alex Hormozy did the book, $100,000, $100 million offers. And it's the same thing, right? It's people should feel, and this is something Russell Brunson told him, is people should feel stupid saying no. And it's got to be, you keep increasing the value of what people see with your product or service.
Right? And it's also getting the right clients.
Yes.
All right. So I have two separate, I was talking to this agent. We have these bunch of deals we're working on, but together, but we have these 2 different clients, completely different. One guy is all about, I got to have my payment at $2,900. I don't care about everything else. Right. But it's not the truth, because they've not went into contract on multiple things because one person in the transaction didn't like it, which the guy's buying, but his mom is going to live there, his sister's going to live there, and his girlfriend's going to live there. So he's got 3 people making comments, but he's making the payment.
Right.
Right. And then we have another couple who are like, yeah, whatever, man. what are we gonna do? You know, so and they make good money. Both of them make really good money. They're getting money for this, and we tell them all this. Okay, that's what we gotta do. But you have the other person who's so keyed in on one thing, and so again, what I'm getting back to is in this world where it's a lot less low-lying fruit, you have to be much more careful and not control, but make sure you ask the right questions, get the right clients, and move forward. It's okay to fire a client.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. The worst thing you do is keep one that just you're focused on the money versus the value of the relationship, because things rarely get better. If it starts off bad and they're a pain in the butt to begin with, they're going to be that way the entire time that they're your customer.
Well, I fired some for being rude to my people.
Oh, shit.
Like we don't put up with that. Thank you. Yeah. Have a great day.
You buy a service, you don't owe me. So I agree. We talk about this one all the time. So write down what the objections that you get on a regular basis, because then you can reverse those and make it part of your pitch.
But also this is, you use whatever they are to either come up with them and reiterate them back to them and say and answer them, and get them to acknowledge that you've answered their objection.
Yes. Because most objections they're just our gut response. Nobody ever wants to be a fall down yes. And so a lot of objections, some are time stalls. Some are people can't afford your product and they don't want to tell you that. So they try and come up with it. But there's also a psychology, and Tom Hopkins talks about this. Nobody wants to say yes immediately. They want to feel like they have to put up at least a little bit of a pushback before they say yes. So they feel like they're getting taken advantage of. So if you can learn to reframe those into non-objections, it's just that much easier to help them purchase your product or service.
Right. Well, it's also like if you put something in a cart at some place and then you leave and then they come back and go, oh, we're going to offer you 10% off if you come back to your car. I'm sorry, we said 20% off. I'm sorry, I meant 30% off. Yeah.
Well, you've read the same Russell Brunson's books that I have, right? So if you go buy the product, as soon as he brings it out, you're going to pay full price. If you skip it and you get put into another funnel, what if we could give you this discount?
Right. You skip it again, then you get extra.
Yeah. So how many times do you say no before you get the best deal is always something I'm curious about. So I'll play with funnels with different email addresses before I'll purchase them.
Well, you can always go back to the same funnel and then figure out, where the point is after you've been through it and you said no forever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now it's only $95 for that $1,000 thing.
Exactly.
All right.
We were going to keep today short and sweet. So again, who are we talking about? Tom Hopkins. Here's his website. Go and check him out. Like I said, you can look at Apple TV. I found a lot of his stuff on YouTube, and I like it because you get straight to the point with that versus I love books. Don't get me wrong. My problem is I have books that I still have not touched. So if you're like me, YouTube is a great source to find out more about them.
But for me, like the one I'm listening to, I like Audible because when I go for a walk, and when you ask me what I listen to when I'm on my walks, like I did 6 miles on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And when buyers say no, it's essential strategies for keeping a sale moving forward, which is so important.
Yes.
Right. I talk about, no, KNOW, knowledge needed to overcome waiting. And basically that's all it is. What are you trying to help people do? And to find that information out, the easiest way is to ask why.
Exactly.
What they want to do. Brian, thanks for being here today. Thanks for having this conversation with me.
Yeah, it was good to see you, Ed.
Yeah, same here. I hope you got something out of it. I did. I'm glad we were able to share our knowledge, and we just want to help one person.
That's right.
You want to help you, whoever you are. Right. But no, I just here's one more thing I'm going to add. If you're on video, radio, whatever, you never say listeners, which didn't realize that because I was like, but they're listening. So aren't they listeners? And the issue is if you say that, you say you, because if you say listeners, they say, oh, he's not talking to me. He's talking to somebody else. But if you say you, then that people know you're talking to them. So in the future, if you're talking on any of the stuff, please use you more than anything else. Yeah, it's a key, which my producer beats into me constantly, and because I have my other co-host, he'll say it, and it's like no, not listeners, you. Right. We're here for you today, and if you want to help us, the easiest way you can help us and support us is subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is ACES 53. You can also do Brian Galke's at subtleskills.com or his Subtle Skills YouTube channel. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is Ed Parcaut, and you could support me by just subscribing also. So you thought I was doing a little skit there, but I'm actually asking you to reach out. Brian, thank you so much.
Hey, have a great day, everybody.
All right. Bye.
Bye.